All right, this is Brian Marvick with BP Kitchen Equipment. We have here a 2023 Bizerba GSP HD slicer. The slicer is overall in pretty good shape. It's got a little bit of scratching here and there, a little bit more right there, some slight discoloration. The gauge plate's in really good shape though. There isn't really any scratching on this area of the gauge plate. Nothing on the carriage either. This also comes with a brand new blade cover. More on that later. Really, the only damage is normally on the corners. This is fine. This corner was damaged, but actually 3D printed a replacement part so that your electronics are completely secure and safe. Yeah, she's overall in really good shape though. Yeah, when I was actually going through this, I always test manual and automatic modes several times. On the very last one on automatic, I actually got an under voltage error during the reference run, and it's not a really common error. And the slicer honestly worked up until that point, but I decided to go in and double check, and we had a fried board. It worked just fine, but this is obviously not good below our standards, so we replaced the board. Anyways, so this is working very well now. Let's see here. Let's turn it back on. All right. So I'll show you manual mode. So in manual mode, blade is spinning right now, but the carriage will not run unless you push it or pull it. The cool thing about the automatics, they work very similar to manuals. You can do the full stroke all the way back and forth, do little strokes if you want, but this is technically an assisted manual. So if you just push it back a little bit, it's going to continue to carry it all the way back. If you push it forward just a little bit, it's going to continue to carry it all the way forward. Not really that important, but if you have an employee or yourself that are cutting all day long, it is a little bit easier on your shoulder. It is nicer. However, the real benefit of the automatics is this: you can run it in automatic mode. So automatic mode is exactly as you see here. It's just going to indefinitely run back and forth until you stop it. In automatic mode, you have 3 different settings for 2 different items. One is the stroke length. So this is the long setting, for example. I'm going to put it all the way to short. That is short. Got medium, and then long. There we go. In addition, I'm just going to pause this real quick, because that is going to get real loud and real annoying. And in addition to the stroke length, you can also do the stroke speed. So Susan hates fast, so it will shake a little bit. This is what fast mode looks like. Right, back to slow. There we go. Yeah, these are really great machines. These are really great machines. We prefer Bizerba over Hobart. We've just had less issues with Bizerba. And most of the major supermarkets now use them over Hobarts. But if you're watching this video, you probably already know how a Bizerba slicer operates. So why buy from BP Kitchen Equipment? Well, we don't just test and wipe down anything. We actually fully service all of our equipment before we sell it. So in the case of slicers, I go through each one. Manuals take me about 4 hours. Automatics take me about 6. It's a whole day's worth of work just to get an automatic done. This one took me a little bit extra time because of that bad board, like I mentioned earlier. Luckily, we had a spare on hand, and now she's working very well. Let's see. I'll talk about lubrication first. So one of the things that we do, we lubricate everything with either Bizerba OEM H1 mineral oil or Bizerba grease. Both are food safe. Both are used from Bizerba by the factory. This one, in this case, uses the H1 oil. It's important to have this because this is a gravity feed. So you put your meat in, put this behind it or on top of it, and then the gravity feed will push your items down. If this isn't lubricated well, here in the back right here, then there's nothing to really push it down. So we use the H1 mineral oil on that rod, as well as the rod that this arm underneath slides back and forth on. It's just generally important that these things are serviced before you get them. You don't want to buy a slicer and then have to pay Bizerba to come out and service it. Yeah, so we use the mineral oil on both of the rods, and we use grease on everything else. One example is this. We use grease inside this here. This is kind of interesting. After 2 to 3 years, this is always locked up like this, so it won't spin. It's not really a huge thing, but we see it on almost every slicer that I get. I'm not exactly sure why, but most of these don't spin. We go through and we make sure that they all do. We also lubricate this dial right here. We lubricate this guiding bar underneath the motor. Yeah, just everything that needs to be lubricated is lubricated. We do a good job. We want to sell a good product at the end of the day. We also make sure that all the electrical, the motherboard, for example, are fully working, fully tested, fully functional for you. You're not going to get anything and then have to order another part or contact Bizerba to get your machine up and running. It's good to go as you get it. Something else we do is we calibrate the safety mechanisms. So, one example. Loosen that. So whenever your slicer is positioned at 0 or all the way to the left, this arm will move back. It's important for cleaning purposes. Whenever you need to clean your slicer at the end of the day, you always remove the blade cover, and then come in here and you can swipe everything down real easy. One of the benefits from buying for us, so this blade is spinning. As it comes from Bizerba, this blade is about 1.5 mil underneath this blade cover whenever this is at 0, which means we do the same. That's relatively important because you don't want to cut yourself when you're cleaning, you or your employees. Usually whenever we get slicers, the top part of this blade is normally exposed. It can be fine. It's just pretty dangerous. If you have an employee comes in here, is cleaning the slicer at the end of the day, they can just put their fingers right into that moving blade, and believe me, these things are sharp. That's one of the things that we do. We also calibrate the mechanisms underneath. So that if this is exposed right, so the blade is technically 0.5 millimeter exposed right now, this carriage is not going to be able to move back. Bizerba does that as a safety mechanism so that whenever the blade is exposed at all, whether it's running or not, you can't cut yourself. We also have it set up so this knob actually flashes whenever you get it to 0. So whenever the blade is exposed, it flashes red, regardless of if the blade is moving or not. You can see here the moment that you get back to 0, it turns green. Let's see. We also calibrate We also calibrate this dial so it's accurate. So these aren't arbitrary numbers. This 0.5, 1, 2. They're actually 0.5 millimeters, 1 millimeter, 5 millimeters, etc. I calibrate them to make sure that you're getting an accurate slice. I guess it's not really that important, but it's just a nice thing to have if you ever want, like a specific size of meat. Additionally, something that comes with this slicer that's pretty cool is it comes with a new blade cover. You might see that this blade cover is a slightly different color. I'm not sure if you can actually see that. Yeah, there we go. It's a slightly different color than the normal anodized aluminum. That is because this blade cover actually comes with Bizerba's Ceraclean coating. So this is an OEM Bizerba lip blade cover. The benefit to this is basically a non-stick coating that Bizerba made themselves. It's a little bit pricier. You got to request them as an option. We got on our hand in a few, and this slicer didn't come with the blade cover, so figured we might as well just put the nice blade covers on the nice machines, right? It also comes with a new meat grip, brand new, never used. And something else we started doing on all of our machines, we actually started replacing the shoring bolt. It's not the most important thing in the world, but it's definitely beneficial. Whenever those shoring bolts get low, these blade covers can ride into your blade and cause damage, like you can see here. It's just where the blade cover is actually resting on the blade and causing scratching. It's mainly a cosmetic thing, but we just started replacing them. Let me see here. Yeah. Long story short, we fix all of our products. We want to make sure that you get just a well-functioning product that doesn't need any service when you receive it. All of our slicers and all of our scales, for that matter, are backed by a 120-day warranty. We stand behind what we do. Again, we don't just test and wipe down anything, but we make sure that the machine that we offer is a well-working machine for you, and it will be for quite a while. So let's see here. Doesn't really matter on the slicer because we put a basically brand new blade on this. But whenever we refurbish slicers, I make sure that there's at least 66% of its lifespan left. This doesn't really matter that much because this is basically a brand new blade. We try to match like with like. So if you get a brand new slicer, you're going to get more or less a brand new blade. Let's see here. The last thing I wanted to talk about, we just recently started doing this, but I actually apply a coating to all of our parts now. So every part of exposed anodized aluminum that you see here, which is more or less the whole slicer, I actually coat with a food safe. It's a food safe cleaner. Removes some dust and grime, but it creates a waterproof layer between the material and whatever it is that you're cutting. You actually want that because all of this is anodized aluminum. Anodized aluminum is great. It creates a hard coating on the top of the aluminum, but a drawback to it is it actually makes the aluminum more susceptible to water damage. We coat all this because after some time, normally right here, right below here, and then right in here, basically wherever it is that you're normally cutting your meat, or whatever it is that you're cutting, like water kind of lingers around, the minerals seep into the slicers, and over the course of 3 to 4 years, the anodized aluminum will soak up a little bit of water. You normally see a little bit of like milkiness like here. I just coat our slicers in that coating that I mentioned. That way, the slicers just be long lasting. It's going to resist the water damage a bit more. Not a huge selling point, but something we recently started doing. Yeah, if you have any other questions, I'm more than happy to answer anything I can. My name is Brent Marvick. You can contact me at the number on this listing, or you can shoot us an email. Thank you very much. Hope you have a good day.